the magical, mystical place, though, a little neighborhood called Jerry's World. Oh, yeah. High drama after the Cowboys were eviscerated by the Saints. That's not very nice. Micah Parsons. Now, he chose to not toe the company line, Micah Parsons. What did he do? He did not bite his tongue. No. And that makes for good talk radio. So if you heard this, you know where I'm going, but maybe not. So Micah Parsons, the face of the Cowboys defense, Micah Parsons, he said recently, following the loss to the New Orleans football team, that it wasn't a scheme issue, that this was not a coaching situation where Mike Zimmer, the old Viking coach who's back in Dallas as the defensive coordinator, that he screwed up. Parsons claimed that the coaching staff called a pretty good game. That's what he said. Now, Micah believed that the Dallas defense, quote, just got outplayed. Quote continues. He said, everyone didn't play to 100%, close quote. Now, how do you think that went over inside the walls of Jerry's World? Not good. So you had both Coach Mike McCarthy and defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer disagree wholeheartedly, not just partially, wholeheartedly disagree, a full-throated disagreement to Micah Parsons' assessment of what went wrong. So the finger-pointing is underway. Now, Zimmer specifically highlighted the Saints' offense just being quicker off the snap than the Dallas defense, but did not believe that the effort was the problem. Mike McCarthy had similar comments. So let us discuss. You've got a he said situation. You got Mike Zimmer and Mike McCarthy on one side of the room, and there's a great divide. You've got Micah Parsons, who's in disagreement on what went wrong for Dallas to get blown off the field by a mediocre Saints team. So whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? I've got X's and O's Bible, Old Maid, and Manatee. And we will combine all of these things together and provide you an audio lifeline. So the scales. Now, I used the Maller scale of truth, justice, and the sports talk radio way for this, and the scales are leaning heavily in the direction of Micah Parsons. That's who we side with. We stand with the player. We stand with Micah Parsons, unfiltered against the better judgment of the Dallas Cowboys PR department. But the Cowboys provided a rather unpleasant stench on the field, and in large part, not because they're not as talented as the Saints or even more talented, they just didn't play with the proper amount of effort. They did not play hard. It was Ernest Hemingway who said, never confuse movement with action. The Cowboys had movement. There just wasn't much action there. Dallas defenders, when I was flipping this game, and it was Alvin Kamara running through the Cowboy defense, Dallas defenders were essentially running. They were running from the grind is what they were doing. Now, over the years, I have had many coaches in the world of football and basketball in particular, not so much baseball, but mostly in basketball and mostly in baseball, who have told me that the margins are so thin in the industrial complex of their wing of professional sports that if you merely work hard, you will have a shot in every game, right? That talent is wonderful. It's the currency of professional sports, but all it does is give you a head start, right? You still have to work and put the work in and all that stuff, and if you don't, the hard work will end up beating the talent when the talent lollygags. And there was a whole lot of lollygag. You know, I understand the side of Mike McCarthy and Mike Zimmer. While they're wrong, they're lying. I don't believe they're telling the truth. Zimmer and McCarthy cannot, under any means, say the Cowboys didn't play hard. Can't do it. It's verboten, right? It's against the teachings of the X's and O's Bible of coaching. The X's and O's Bible of coaching. It is a forbidden taboo. It is. Lack of effort and hustle is a direct indictment of the coaching staff. It is a reflection of their work, that they are not able to provide the proper smelling salts to get the team ready to play, that the simple root of sport, playing with max effort, which does not require athletic ability. You don't have to have athletic ability to play hard. You're not allowed to say, as a coach, your team didn't play hard, because that is a green light to fire the coach when you say that. All right, now, staying with the Cowboys, page 2 here. Jerry Jones on his weekly radio show, Jerry, said that Mike McCarthy's lame duck status, quack, 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 his lame duck status did not impact the Cowboys and that blowout loss to the Saints over the weekend. What is your reaction to the comments by Mr. Jones? So Jerry on this one, he's playing a game called Old Maid, which is appropriate. It's an old bar game, Old Maid. Calling a spade a spade. It is impossible to argue. Now, it would be great, better talk radio, be much more interesting to say, oh, yeah, Jerry's blowing smoke here. McCarthy is not going to feel the real heat until the Cowboys are in the playoffs, or if they even miss the playoffs, well, then he'll lose the locker room. He won't be around. He'll be fired. But McCarthy's worked for a bunch of different teams. You're a football nomad in that world. Each year it's like shuffling the deck of cards at a casino, right? You reshuffle the deck. And Jerry Jones, he also suggested that he is fine with going through some trials and tribulations. The struggle is real for Jerry in Jerry's world, as long as it's during the regular season, if it means better playoff results. Clearly thinking there's some kind of correlation, causation situation. However, we know, because we're adults, that correlation does not imply causation. The other problem with that is the Cowboys, spoiler alert, have been blown off the field in games the last couple of years. They have had no-show performances in multiple games over recent seasons. So it's not like they're trading. It's like, you exchange something. I go to Costco. I had some bread we bought that was covered in mold the next day. So I gave it back. I don't need the bread anymore. And I exchanged it for a new loaf of sourdough bread. Right? That was the exchange that was made. But you don't exchange. It's not a one-for-one exchange, right? Like, it's like, yeah, you say, okay, we're going to suck some games in the regular season. We're going to be great in the playoffs. Well, the Cowboys have sucked in games during the regular season. And, yeah, they've sucked. Real talk, they've sucked in the playoffs also. They've thrown in the sponge like they did against the Green Bay Packers, although they did get Jordan Love paid. And even Dak Prescott got paid. Everyone gets paid. All right, last word. Maller Show follow-up. We go to Miami. Can you give me the update, the latest information on Tua Tagovailoa, right? Now, how do you categorize the news that came out that Tua has officially been placed on the Dolphins injured reserve, that it's on? There was some, I don't know if the right word is floundering, but there was some indecision. It did not happen immediately, but it has happened. So how do you categorize Tua Tagovailoa officially going on the Dolphins injured reserve? So this is a bookkeeping move. This is a clerical move. Miami officials, right? And both sides. Everyone's, kind of moving slowly here. No one's in a rush, right? Tua's posse, Miami's front office. They might be called the Dolphins, but on this one, they're the manatees, right? They're the sea cows is what they are. They're not fast dolphins spinning around. No. These are sea cows. That's a manatee of insanity is what it is, which is also one of my nicknames. Slowly moving along as they contemplate the next move. And you got a lot of cooks in the kitchen, right? A lot of people that got a finger in the pie. You've got the medical people, the legal department, football ops, on the Miami side, and then on the Tua side, you've got Tua. Does he want to play? His family, are they supportive of him playing? And also the people that have latched on to Tua, because all these pro athletes have a bunch of followers and people that ride their coattails that make their living as associates of the player, writing for the brand, latching on like leeches to suck money out of the athlete's pocket. So all of those different factions will chime in on this one.